It's Monday, September 29th, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Welcome to thousands of new subscribers. Thank you for doing that to get the alerts as we see these changes as we go forward through the hurricane season. Thank you for being part of this community. All right, watching these two spots. This here is Imelda getting stronger. There is Umberto. Imelda, we're seeing that flooding persisting parts of the Bahamas for today. I want to highlight that all the way down through Haiti and Jamaica, but we are now in action mode in Bermuda because Imelda, as it strengthens, it is going to make that turn right toward Bermuda as a hurricane, with hurricane impacts more likely in Bermuda. I want to cover that as this strengthens in this video. I want to show you long term what's going to happen to both of these systems and the spot we're watching in the Gulf. We'll cover that in this video. There's Umberto, a powerful hurricane that will slide just to the west of Bermuda as we go over the next couple of days. Then Umberto, watching this. This is what will follow that, but more likely to move right toward Bermuda. Out ahead of it, there is some of that rain working into parts of North Carolina. South Carolina is expected, but it will be making the turn. Really heavy rain through parts of the northern and parts of the central Bahamas. Been watching over toward Freeport, New Providence. Put your location down, what you got going on. We're thinking of you with some of the gustier weather, not hurricane impacts, keeping everything in perspective in this channel, but some of those tropical storm impacts with Tropical Storm Imelda right overhead in the Northern Bahamas this morning and through at least early afternoon. The south side of that, seeing the spots of showers and storms, Turks and Caicos, southern Bahamas, eastern Cuba, keeping an eye on the Cayman Islands, Jamaica over toward Haiti. We could get some thunderstorms again today, and even a few as we work our way back toward the Dominican Republic, just seeing some scattered action on the south side of this. Now, here's the outlook for Tropical Storm Imelda, soon to be Hurricane Imelda, right over the northern Bahamas as we go throughout much of the day today. Then it starts to make that turn. It will be to the east of both North Carolina, South Carolina, even Georgia, Florida, pulling away, not seeing any major impacts or any hurricane impacts, I should say, in these areas, or tropical storm impacts along the southeast coast of the U.S. I'm just not seeing that, right? It's going to make the turn, keeping things in perspective. With that, we'll have those coastal impacts, the high seas, some of the erosion, no doubt, so not diminishing that. But again, this is pulling away. That's good news for the southeast U.S. That is bad news, of course, for Bermuda. We don't wish a storm on anyone. By Wednesday night in particular, moving right into Bermuda with those hurricane impacts. So winds right now on a strengthening Imelda are at about 50 miles per hour, 80 kilometers an hour sustained, so higher gusts. Then it will be strengthening late tomorrow into a hurricane moving toward Bermuda, where I expect hurricane warnings to soon be issued as this will be moving in. So across Bermuda, thank you for spreading the word. Hurricane Imelda will be at least nearby, if not a direct hit. It could be a little bit to the south, maybe a little bit to the north, but it could move right in with those hurricane impacts. So make those hurricane preps as of now. Winds would be near 90 miles per hour, 145 kilometers an hour. There is a chance, though, as this pulls closer, it could actually strengthen even more than that, and that's why we need to make those hurricane preps. We're looking late Wednesday into early Thursday, and I'll zoom down with the winds in just a moment as we watch this system moving toward Bermuda. All of the models taking that turn, but unfortunately right toward Bermuda. And then we'll keep an eye on the Atlantic region of Canada, Newfoundland, Avalon Peninsula, watching over toward the Maritimes, keeping an eye on that to see if there's any curl back. Here's the Google DeepMind, which is a Google AI model, which has done great with this system. Really picked up on that turn and read the environment correctly. You see that sharp turn, but headed right toward Bermuda, unfortunately. And then down the road, it should stay to the south and east of Newfoundland, but I'm going to monitor because, again, that is down the road. We'll watch out for any changes. Now, as far as the strength goes, it's a tropical storm now, but over the next day, 2 days, 3 days, it's only going to strengthen further into that hurricane, especially by late tomorrow into Wednesday, and it could potentially be even a little bit stronger. Those are some of the trends that we need to watch out for. As of now, kind of looks like a Category 1 hurricane for Bermuda, but I would not be surprised at all based on what I'm seeing in the environment for this to be about a Category 2. That's why I mentioned that we're in action mode in Bermuda. Hurricane conditions are going to move in late on Wednesday, but it could be even stronger. Now, here here is Umberto. This will move off toward the west of Bermuda as we work our way into tomorrow, and then early on Wednesday. Wednesday kind of pulling to the north and then kicking out south of Nova Scotia, south of Prince Edward Island, seeing that south of Newfoundland. So watching that kind of make its curl. But this system, Imelda, following that, water temperature so very warm. That's why this is going to continue to strengthen, and that's also why we're watching the Gulf and the Caribbean as we go down the road through hurricane season for further development. A lot of those waters have been untouched. They are very warm, so if anything tries to develop, we'll have to watch out for that very carefully for strengthening. Now, here's a look at the high-resolution model. Then I want to swing back toward the Caribbean and the Gulf. You can see out ahead of it, this is at 1 o'clock today. You see some of that rain kind of getting tied into a front anywhere from Delmarva south. So yes, heavier rain, gustier winds, no doubt, along the outer banks of North Carolina, back through parts of South Carolina, Georgia, and then even if you're along the coastline in Florida. But all the main tropical storm hurricane impacts staying offshore. We will monitor, as I mentioned, for some of those conditions along the coast of high winds, beach erosion, could be a little coastal flooding. There will be some with that persistent onshore flow as this makes its turn tomorrow morning. You see it right there. That onshore flow continues for North Carolina and South Carolina. That's why, depending on exactly where you are, we could get some of that coastal flooding. But you see on Wednesday, this pulling away, taking that sharp turn, but it will be moving right toward Bermuda late in the day on Wednesday. So let me show you that here. Here is Bermuda. Here we are in the Bahamas, Cuba right here, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. There goes Umberto. Again, the core of that missing Bermuda, thank goodness, because that is so powerful. As that continues to make the curve, that is going to help kind of pinwheel this around, and you could see here a strengthening Imelda. That's a concern. Looks like a Category 1, but I believe it could be a little bit stronger as it moves into Bermuda. This is 6 p.m. in Bermuda on Wednesday. Conditions will go downhill. This looks to move in overnight with the worst conditions around 9 p.m. and after that in Bermuda as we work our way into Wednesday night. And then by Thursday morning, it will be accelerating, so quickly getting out of here by the time we work our way in through the day on Thursday. Now you can see the winds here, miles per hour and kilometers an hour on your screen. There are the winds with Imelda, the powerful winds that we've been seeing with Umberto. This is by tomorrow, stopping it here. You see again, there's Umberto moving around, but strong gusty winds in Bermuda. Some of the winds gusting to about 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers an hour tomorrow with Umberto, the core staying to the north, but then all eyes on Imelda pulling away from the U.S. coast, watching that onshore flow. This is 2 p.m. Wednesday, but Wednesday night, that's when the heaviest weather moves in. You see some of these even greens popping up in here. Those who could be some winds of 125 miles per hour, 200 kilometers an hour. That's why I mentioned I do believe this could be a little bit stronger. It could strengthen as it moves in. This is by 11 p.m., especially as we get into just after midnight. We'll be fine-tuning this into very early Thursday. The hurricane impacts moving in for Bermuda. So I do want to caution again, it's a tropical storm now. It will be a hurricane, but it could be even higher than a Category 1 hurricane by Thursday. All of that will be sliding off toward the east as the winds will eventually try to diminish late on Thursday. But hurricane impacts, please make those preps in Bermuda. Here's a look at the European model showing a similar scenario. Here's Bermuda, southeast coast of the U.S. Watching Imelda sitting right over the Northern Bahamas for us today. You can see it there starting to make its turn. This is by tomorrow. There goes Umberto, powerful hurricane. There is Bermuda, so that'll kind of be up and around, but still on the backside of that, kind of getting those strong gusty winds through the day tomorrow in Bermuda. Strong gusty winds along the coast of the southeast U.S. and the Bahamas. But with that said, Imelda pulling away. And then as we work our way into Wednesday, this is later on Wednesday. Here's Bermuda, Imelda strengthening as it moves toward Bermuda. That is the concern, and all indications are it'll either make a direct hit or be very close by. So hurricane conditions look imminent as we work our way into Bermuda, as we work our way into Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and then it will be eventually moving away as we get deeper into the day on Thursday. Now the big picture and keeping the Gulf in mind, you could see here, excuse me, watching Bermuda. Atlantic region of Canada. Not seeing any scenario bringing this toward Cape Cod or anything like that, back toward New England, but just going out in time. This is Wednesday. Watching this, here's Umberto, should be to the south and east of the Atlantic region of Canada. There is Imelda, a hurricane strengthening one, trying to move into Bermuda late Wednesday, early Thursday. You see it there, and then pushing away. And we'll keep an eye on the Atlantic region of Canada to see what happens as we work forward with what is left of Imelda as it passes by Bermuda. And then watching this, I'm not seeing any crazy signs of development, keeping things in perspective. But as we go out in time here, as we get toward the end of the week, here is what's left of Imelda, south and east of the Avalon Peninsula. I'll be watching that. But then you do see a buildup of rain in the Gulf, and that does catch my attention. So monitoring this area here to see if anything wants to feed off of those very warm water temperatures. Know that in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, swinging back toward Georgia, Florida, I'll be monitoring this area here, just a flare up of rain. And then as we go throughout the week in some upcoming videos, I'll be highlighting that, especially if we are going to see any signs of development. Now, the south side of this, watching us in the Caribbean, scattered areas of rain and storms, spotty for many of us. It's going to be a little bit heavier Panama, Costa Rica, parts of Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua, west side, better chance of rain as we go throughout the day today, tomorrow. Still some scattered storms, Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, watching that, watching some other tropical waves out there in the Atlantic, but as of now, I'm not seeing development out of those. We're going to be really watching the Gulf later this week to see if anything closer to home flares up. But you see on Wednesday, these areas of rain, these in particular could lead to flooding, and I'll monitor the Atlantic. Tropical waves will be moving our way in the Caribbean. Just as of now, not seeing development, but we could see the increased chance of rain as we get toward the weekend. Now the swells, no doubt, crazy. The seas are so high. Here's meters, here's feet as we watch these wave heights, and it stays a mess right through the end of the week. So even as Imelda pulls away from the Bahamas, southeast coast of the U.S., it's going to strengthen those swells. This here is by Thursday are still impacting those passageways, those Atlantic passageways as far south as the northeastern Caribbean. We're going to see things getting bumpier again. Antigua, Barbuda, Anguilla with these swells building. And then you see that spot in the Gulf that we'll be watching. You see the seas building as well. Some rain develops. I'll be monitoring to see if we get any development in the northern Gulf. So Umberto's out there. Imelda's out there. Jerry is the next name on the list. Then Karen, Lorenzo, and Melissa as we work our way through the list this hurricane season, which goes all the way through the end of November. So additional really heavy rain, been highlighting that, had us covered in the Bahamas, no doubt. Tropical storm impacts continue, an additional upwards of about 150 millimeters of rain or 6 inches of rain will be possible for some of us. Most of it avoids the southeast coastline, but in through here, while this is scattered, I mentioned Southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, and a little bit in the Cayman Islands. Watching out for scattered areas of rain, but where we get it, we could get 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain with some big tropical downpours. So be mindful of some stronger storms and the possibility of isolated areas of flooding. Spotty in nature, Puerto Rico, around the Horn, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, Martinique, as we work our way into St. Lucia, Barbados, same thing, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, hit or miss showers possible. Not as much Guyana, Suriname, interior Venezuela and Colombia, higher chance of rain, but these are the pockets that I mentioned for some flooding potential. See western Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, for example, some spots over 150 millimeters of rain or 6 inches of rain. And then Mexico City to the west, some of the rain. Scattered areas of rain, Merida back through Cancun, where we could get some spots of 75 millimeters of rain. Much of Texas dry, same thing as we work our way through the northern Gulf. With that said, we'll be watching the rain building in the Gulf as we go throughout the week, and we will monitor together for any development. So Jamaica, we have a 50% chance of scattered showers and storms. Cayman Islands, most of it should be just off toward the east, but still a slight chance of a shower. Trinidad and Tobago, we're looking at a 40% chance today and tomorrow. Mainly dry in Barbados today. Could get a passing shower tomorrow. We'll be up to about a 40% chance. St. Lucia, 20% chance today, 30% chance for tomorrow. Grenada, few showers possible throughout the day. 40% chance, 30% chance tomorrow. Nothing too high. Same thing, St. Vincent the Grenadines. Grenadines, we're looking at a 30% chance, 30 to 40% chance in Martinique. We swing to the north, mainly dry in Dominica. Today, 30% chance for tomorrow, and seeing some isolated showers in Guadeloupe as we go over the next couple of days. A 40% chance in Guadeloupe by Wednesday. 30% chance Antigua, Barbuda. The seas are going to be building by the end of the week. St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat, 30% chance today and a 40% chance tomorrow. We do that again. Anguilla and St. Bart, so isolated showers possible. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia as well, 30 to 40% chance. Some scattered thunderstorms today and tomorrow in Puerto Rico. We're looking at a 40% chance. Meanwhile, about a 30% chance the next 2 days, U.S. and British Virgin Islands. Bahamas, of course, Northern Bahamas. That's where the tropical storm impacts are happening. But even south, watching out for some bands of rain that could give us some of those downpours, and that includes over toward the Turks and Caicos with a 40% chance of some tropical downpours today and a 40% chance the next 2 days across the Dominican Republic, even back toward Haiti if we get some rain. Again, watching for the runoff and some of those dangerous rivers. 20 to 30% chance in Belize, our rain chance not too high. Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire holding at a seasonal 20% chance, so rain chance not too high. Just a 30% chance through Guyana and looking at about a 10 to 20% chance the next 3 days as we work our way back through Suriname, eastern Cuba. That's where we'll have a better chance of some rain and storms. A 70% chance the next 2 days. Costa Rica and Panama staying active as a whole. A 50% chance in Nicaragua, but flooding likely western sections of Nicaragua, interior and western sections of Honduras as well. That's where we'll see flooding potential. Watching that as well. Guatemala and El Salvador. 50 to 60% chance across Mexico City, and scattered areas of rain, as I mentioned, right across the Yucatan Peninsula. 50% chance of rain back through northern Colombia, 40 to 50% chance in northern Venezuela. And the rain chance, all eyes in Bermuda on what's going on with Humberto. That will give us some of those showers and gusty strong winds tomorrow, but in particular late Wednesday into early Thursday. So Wednesday night with the hurricane conditions that will be moving in with Imelda headed toward Bermuda. So Imelda gets stronger today. Heavy rain in the northern Bahamas. Watching out for some flooding. I'll be watching your comments. We are now in action mode, making the hurricane preparations in Bermuda with those hurricane impacts starting to arrive late Wednesday, and in particular Wednesday night. Hurricane season goes through the end of November. So thank you for your trust. Thank you for being part of this weather community. Be safe. I'll keep you posted. Have a good day ahead.